All right, you guys, this is the ridiculous cinema setup. Complete overkill. And obviously, I can't even use this when it's on a tripod, all this stuff. But this is for long handheld shoots with an external battery. Got the big monitor on it, top handle, side handle, all of that stuff. Bro, we are looking massive. It's requiring me to flex my pec. So you get to see, wow, incredible. So I really need a flat connector, 240 watt PD USB C to USB C cable. Gilbert, do you have one of those? Because that's what I need. I know, Dad's crazy. He's over here got an iPad mini hooked up to his camera with this giant storage battery and a light and all kinds of other fun stuff. But hey, this is what we got to do.
What is going on, you guys? Good to see you. Good to be doing another car vlog. Doing a lot of gym content lately. I think the last 3 or 4 videos has been straight up hello and welcome to the gym. But we got to get back to vlogging as well. We don't want the content to be a little bit too repetitive. So, had a topic on my mind spurred by a close individual to me. They were talking about how they wanted to do some vlogging, but not public vlogging. They wanted to essentially do video journals. And that is going to be the topic of today's discussion. I think this is a invaluable tool in your life. And it's something I've been doing long before I ever even had a social media platform. Before the 100,000 follower count, I was recording my life as a means of self-talk, self-journaling, capturing a record, because I really struggled with maintaining a written journal or a diary or whatever you want to call it. I had tried several times in my life, and seriously, I don't think I ever put together like a 5-day streak, not even a week. It always seemed like a great idea, but the amount of time it takes to put pen to paper, even if you're just thinking stream of consciously and writing down whatever you're thinking, you can talk so much faster than trying to write down your stream of consciousness. Now, obviously, you have to be a little bit more intentional when you're structuring sentences and that kind of stuff written, but that's a different experience. It's a little, I'm not going to say it's inauthentic because you're journaling to yourself, but there's a bit more full on transparency. What was really on your mind that day, and the flubs and saying things wrong and then correcting yourself, getting all of that. And that's just the words, but the scenery, everything about the environment also captured in that moment of time and that moment of thought that you were having that you wanted to capture. But also, how did you look that day? How did you look 5 years ago? What was your facial hairstyle? What was your regular hairstyle? Did you sound different? Was your physique different? What car were you driving? What home were you living in? What city were you living in? And when you watch these videos years later on down the road, the reason you sat down and recorded that vlog was surely about a certain topic. You wanted to talk about a life experience or something you learned from, or vent, get some things off of your chest. But when you watch that later on, of course, you're going to be reminded of all those things that you were talking about. But you're going to look in the background and you're like, oh, I remember back when I drove that car. Oh, I remember back when I still lived in XYZ. Oh, that was before I remodeled the bedroom or remodeled the house. You'll see your dog in the background. You'll see a million different things that are the micro moments that are not captured in a written journal or written diary. So if it's purely just for the sake of yourself, it's not something you plan on ever publishing because you're introverted, you don't want a social media presence, that's all irrelevant. I highly recommend everybody utilizes video recording, video journaling. Is it still called a vlog if you're not sharing it? I honestly don't know. Video log, I guess, right? So self-vlogging, it literally changed my life. It's extremely therapeutic. Also, by the way, if you have a hard time extemporaneously speaking, especially in front of crowds or other people, but even if I'm just asking you directly one-on-one in a conversation to express your thoughts, a lot of times, man, people really struggle with that. Like they have a hard time with articulation. And when I launched my channel publicly and started sharing my life, whether it was on the bodybuilding subjects or politics and religion, whatever, people like the first thing they observed was you're really articulate. You can just speak your mind fluidly. You're not sitting around saying, there's not awkward pauses. You're not overusing the word like 10 million times. All that filler that people, when they're still trying to imagine what to say next, even if it's just, as I said, an undocumented conversation, it's honestly a pet peeve of mine when people speak that way. But that comes through practice. And it's actually something you can reflect on if you sit down and record a vlog. It's funny because a lot of people, knowing they're never going to publish it, still, if they're in front of a camera, only talking to themselves, they'll kind of crunch down into a little ball and not know what to talk about. It's so weird. Like, even if you're talking to your future self, it's like, oh, well, I'm on camera now, so I better say everything perfectly, correctly. I better not sound stupid. Even if it's just yourself that's eventually going to watch that, people still intrinsically have that experience. And first, you break through that by simply venting, by stream of consciousness, ranting, whatever it is that you're going through, job problems, relationship problems, financial problems, you're sick, whatever it is. I mean, that's the point of your journal or your diary, your video log. You just talk about what's going on in your life. And after you get accustomed to doing that purely with an audience of yourself, you will find that you end up carrying over those improved communication skills in every facet of your life, in the workplace and in all of your other relationships. That doesn't mean it's going to help you become a public speaker. That's not necessarily the ends that we're aiming at anyway. The ends that we're aiming at are obviously a therapeutic relationship with yourself, introspection, self-analyzation, and also, if you are politically minded and religiously minded, you can, over time, watch yourself evolve. I mean, I look at some of my old political commentary and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really didn't know what was going on, who was in charge. I thought this was way more simple back then. But that didn't stop me from sitting down and recording the content, and I even shared it on the internet. Because I believe in grace. I believe that people do grow and change and become more intelligent as they're exposed to more people. And as time evolves, as the situation changes, people have the right to accumulate a better understanding or simply a different understanding over time. And so I was always prepared to defend myself. If somebody says, oh, well, 4 years ago, here was your opinion on this subject. Don't you see how you were wrong now? It's like, okay, yeah, the facts changed or I changed. People are allowed to do that. The world changes. It's not a big deal, guys. Come on. Obviously, I'm in a little bit of a different situation when it comes to talking about some of the most controversial subjects and being willing to do so publicly, and the implications that has on your career and other public facing kind of relationships. That's all different, but it's the same thing. I was like, I can defend myself. I've been talking on camera and talking about various subjects for many, many years now. If you put me in a room and you expect me to defend my beliefs about my religion or my perspective on the genders or my perspective on racial differences, whatever it may be, I can do so. And I can do so almost always in a way that is morally unimpeachable, biblically unimpeachable, and is relatable to the average person. It's why I can talk to a black guy, a woman, a homosexual, or whoever else that oftentimes I criticize these groups of people. And so I get the reputation of being racist or sexist or misogynist, whatever, anti-Semitic. I get a reputation for those things simply because I'm willing to criticize those different groups. And then as I point that out, first and foremost, everybody needs to understand criticism shouldn't be conflated with hatred. Since when did we start doing that? If I criticize somebody's cooking, that doesn't mean I hate their cooking or that I hate them. You know, to say even that I don't like something, that I disfavor something, that still doesn't mean I hate it. I don't like the proliferation of religions that are not Christianity because Jesus Christ told us specifically, explicitly, to leave no room for misinterpretation in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 6. I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. Okay, so Christianity is an exclusionary religion. It invalidates every other religion in the world. And so if I can point to biblical scripture and I can say, this is what it says, this is not Josh's opinion, these are the words of Jesus Christ as captured by John. So it's once again not a problem that you have with me and my religious perspectives and that I'm Islamophobic or anti-Semitic or Hindi-phobic or something. I'm simply articulating what my religious affiliation tells me. It's straight out of the Bible. And so the same applies. I mean, I don't want to derail this whole conversation about being an apologist for my politics or my religion. I'm talking about vlogging in general. But that's how I became so comfortable talking about very complex subjects that do require you to sit down and speak intelligently, clearly, confidently for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. If you've seen some of my longer episodes, 2 hours. I'll go on and on and on as much as you want me to, or as much as I feel like doing. That was because how many years ago? Almost 10 years ago, I sat down and said, I want to capture this bodybuilding fitness lifestyle journey that I'm on. You know, I've been in the gym for 6 to 12 months at that point. I'm learning how to diet. I'm seeing great results. I don't want to forget what this was like, learning all of this stuff. And then as I accumulated a little bit of a library of self-journals that were only ever meant for me, I felt like there was so much valuable content in there that I was like, you know what, maybe I should start sharing some of this information and sharing my physical transformation. And the same ended up happening in politics and religion and so on and so forth. So vlogging, self-journaling, whatever you want to call it, I swear to you, it will change your life. And you have no reason, you have no explanation not to do it. Everybody has the time. Put a tripod or a magnetic mount on your dashboard, put your camera in selfie mode, drive somewhere, go to work, wherever else, and just record your thoughts on the way. All right, we're getting into the gym. We finally got a gym membership. I guess this means I got to start eating better too. I don't know how I'm going to fit this into my work schedule. And I don't know how I'm going to balance this with my family life. I don't really want to do this. I've never succeeded at this before, but I made a promise to myself that I was going to do this. And so this is me going on the record for my future self saying, I'm doing it. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm going to clean up my diet and I'm going to go to the gym and I need to maybe do some cardio, whatever it may be. And I promise you 3 months, 6 months, however long down the road, when you watch that vlog, just out of curiosity to see what it was like when you first started, you are going to be so fulfilled and proud of yourself for pushing through that doubt and all of the negativity and the inertia of a normal life that has neglected its physical fitness for so long. You have to be careful with that pride word, because the moment a Christian says pride, you have some person who doesn't understand the conversation trying to butt in. Oh, but pride is a sin. Okay, so we should never be proud of ourselves. You study hard, you make an A on a test. Oh, can't be proud of myself. You diet correctly, you exercise consistently for years. Oh, can't be proud of myself. You raise a God-loving family. Oh, can't be proud of myself. So that's not what the Bible is referring to, obviously. The pride it's referring to is in terms of arrogance and superiority. Obviously, it's the original sin from which Lucifer was cast out of heaven. But anyway, to keep it topical, not to get all deep in the Bible and scripture, but we are on our way to the gym. We are vlogging. We have a couple of errands to do today. I have to hit up Walmart, a second Walmart, because my normal one that's like 5 minutes from my house has been out of fat-free cheese for like a week or two. I mean, this is like red alert, DEFCON 5 problem in my life. I use shredded fat-free cheese all the time on my tacos, on my nachos, on enchiladas. So we have to go to a second Walmart to try to track down, because they're the only people who have fat-free shredded cheddar and fat-free cream cheese. I don't know what's up with all these other, say gas stations, grocery stores not stocking the fat-free stuff. And it is regional. Some regions don't have a problem with that, but for whatever reason around here, only Walmart carries the fat-free cheeses. And even then, only certain Walmarts carry the fat-free cream cheese. I know this is like, who cares kind of stuff, but these are the struggles of my life. And this is me talking to my future self. Also, man, do you remember back in that time of life where all of those ingredients that you were weighing neurotically, not really neurotically, but intentionally, making all those homemade meals, low calorie, high protein, intermittent fasting, weighing them all on the food scale, all that stuff. I thought that was going to be kind of how I saw it 10 years ago, where I was like, all right, I'm going to do all this stuff. And I'll look back in a few years and I'll be like, man, that was crazy. Okay. But I'm still doing all of that 10 years later, every single day of my life, basically every single meal of my life. Obviously, there's special occasions and whatnot. But yeah, my daily life is still almost exactly like it was 10 years ago. That's called consistency. That's why I have the trust, and that's why people ended up following my channel, was because I'm consistent. I consistently upload. My opinions don't change dramatically like the wind. When something does change, I'm able to articulate why. I confess when I was wrong. I consistently do all of these things. I consistently put time into my faith. Consistency. Tangentially, that's a tough word to say. Consistency and discipline are tangentially connected. In order to consistently do something, you have to be disciplined. I guess the consistency is the byproduct of the discipline. Discipline comes first. That allows you to be consistent. The consistency is what creates the results. If it's vlogging, it means you become more articulate and more confident in expressing your views, and also that value you're accumulating to show your future self or even your future family. If it's the discipline that leads to the consistency in the gym, then you're going to have the byproduct being obviously a better physique and much better longevity. Not all these doctor's appointments, not always getting sick, not being in chronic pain, being stronger than everybody else, looking better than everybody else. Also, will all feed back into your self-image and confidence. And then the discipline to consistently read scripture, engage in fellowship with additional Christians in your community, go to church. That discipline that leads to the consistency will lead to the results of a fulfillment in life that can't be replaced by a career, a relationship, wealth, status, anything else. Your relationship with God, trust me, way more valuable than anything else in life. It is the foundation that everything else is built upon. And that's obviously scripture as well. It's my opinion, but it's also scripture. All right, guys, we pulled up at the gym and I was trying to figure out how to do all these errands today. And I didn't want to waste more time, honestly, while I was just trying to get out of the house, take the camera equipment, the pre-workout, the BCAAs. I needed my laptop to work for a little bit before I go in the gym. I got a Facebook deal that I'm doing in a couple hours, so I needed to bring that item as well. It's like trying to get all this stuff into the car. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to treat myself today. I'm going to save the 90 seconds it takes me to mix up a pre-workout, and I am going to bring a canned pre-workout. Oh, yes. We got, can we focus on this? Like the one time I want this thing to focus on something else. There you go. We got the rain in the house. Okay, now stop focusing on it. Focus on me. Jeez. Whatever happened to autofocus? Why do I have to reach up and click the thing to focus on me? But we got our electrolytes, our BCAs. We are also consuming Coke 10. We got our caffeine. We got it all in the rain for a whopping 10 calories. 300 milligrams of caffeine in rain. So, I mean, I think that's 2 white monsters worth of caffeine, highly caffeinated. But we're going to have some kind of upper body day, and I like to be really amped up for those. It's either going to be a shoulder day. No, we're not doing shoulders today. It's going to be a back day or an arm day. So I'll catch you guys inside. Go do a vlog.